because Jesus knew that he would die like every other human. But Jesus knew one thing that is different about him that none of us share in, and that is Jesus is the only one who has ever defeated death, who has came back to life, and it has been for good. You may know people who have a near-death experience. They will die again. They will have a death eventually. All these people in the story, they've all had a death. But Jesus is the only one who died, but then came back to life, never to die again, ever again. It says that Jesus now eternally resides up next to the Father. That he defeated death, and that's where he will remain in life next to the Father. There's something else that's important about this phrase, the firstborn from the dead. The firstborn son is the one who inherits all that is the Father's. And so Jesus is the firstborn from the dead, so he's the only one to have defeated death. He's the first one to have defeated death for good. And he is the firstborn of all of them, the first one. And so he will inherit all of life. All of those who come after him, he will also inherit them. He will take over the kingdom of those who resurrect from the dead. It's a term of authority. Remember, Jesus is the origin. He is the beginning. All authority flows out from him. He will inherit and be authority over the kingdom of those who come to life. He was the firstborn initially in all creation, and he's the firstborn again. It's kind of funny because we call ourselves born again. But Jesus really is the firstborn again. He didn't mean it like that. I mean, he sort of did. But as the firstborn, as the inheritor of those who will resurrect, who will have an afterlife, Jesus will inherit them. He will inherit us. We will be in his kingdom, in his household, like a firstborn son in the day that inherited all of the Father's household. Jesus will inherit all of the heavenly household, and we will be part of that. And so as such, Jesus has authority to decide who will remain in God's household. He has authority over who will receive life. Worship team, go ahead and make your way forward. See, guys, I will die. You will die. Get that in your head. You may eat, drink, and be merry in this life, but tomorrow you will die. Tomorrow we will all die, and I'm speaking obviously of a metaphorical tomorrow. Don't think you came into some weird cult and I'm like, prophecy of the Lord. You're doomed. And see, some of you hear that and you go, I'm a good person though. I know there's an afterlife and I know I'm going to go to it because I'm a good person. Well, all you're saying is that you're a good dead person. Because you don't have authority over death. You don't have authority over life, and your goodness does not get you to defeat death. Gandhi died, and he was a great guy. If being good got you authority over death, then Martin Luther King Jr. would not have died such a brutal assassination as he did. You're a good person, great. Then that means you're going to be a good dead person. No one's going to have a problem with you then when you're dead either. Some of you go, but I have spiritual experiences. I've seen angels. I've done this and that. Well, I've been in time of prayer, and I pray for a really long time. And I know that when I'm praying for a long time, there's angels around me. Well, great. When you're laying 6 feet under for a really long time, then maybe you can ask them to hang out with you then as well. Because you're going to be a dead person. See, here's the key. There are many gods that many people follow. But all of those people die. And therefore, those gods are gods of the dead. But Jesus said, when in an argument with the Sadducees about the resurrection, he said, what you don't understand is that our God is not a God of the dead, but God of the living. Because only our God decides who lives and who dies, and it's only those who follow him and worship him that live. My question to you is, do you have life? Or do you just have a religion you follow? Do you just have a philosophy that you believe? Because that's great. But a lot of dead people have a lot of philosophies. If you were a child in the street at this point, and you were thinking, my goodness and my spirituality will get me in, I would scream as a parent. I would be like, get out! Because it's like a child playing in the street and being like, but I did the chores today. No car's going to hit me because I did my chores. I cleaned my room. They're going to see me and they're going to be like, oh, he cleaned his room. Let's not kill him. There's only one person who decides life and death, and that is Jesus, Lord and God of all creation. After saying, I am the resurrection and the life, Jesus went on to say this, whoever believes in me, though he die, as we all will, yet shall he live. And whoever believes in me shall never die. But then came the key question. This is what he asked Martha, and this is what I believe Jesus is asking all of us tonight. I don't care if you think you're a Christian, or you know you're a Christian, or if you don't think you are, or you know you're not. This question is the crucial take-home question. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. I have authority over life and death. Whoever believes in me will live, though physically they may die. And then he said this, and this is all that matters tonight, guys. Turned to Martha, and he said, do you believe this? And that's my question. Do you believe that? Is your assurance that Jesus, and only believing in Jesus, is what stores up for you life in heaven? Tonight's communion. Tonight represents the very thing that I talk about. That Jesus died. But he didn't just die to prove, I can beat death. He died to take on the sins that condemn us all and bring us all death eternal. And he died as a punishment so that we wouldn't have to take that punishment, and then defeated death as an example so that we could resurrect like him. And he said, do this communion and remember that I died for you so that I could give you life. And so tonight, as the worship team starts up, and as we worship God, and as we sing of his rescue, when God calls you, when you feel it's right, we should have communion in the back by the courtesy rooms back there, and we have it here. At your leisure, and when led by God, if you believe, come and celebrate the life that Jesus has given to you, and worship him and sing in the glory that we know death can be beaten and that he can rescue us from death.